Hello and welcome to the December 11th edition of LAN Party. That's local area network party for you.
For you straights out there.
Oh, did you hear that? Did you guys hear that? Who was that? Was that Robert Ashley? Robert, is that you?
Robert.
Yes, hello.
Oh my God, he's here.
Oh my God.
I'm here and I'm throwing a ball against the wall.
And people are going to be so happy that
You should probably stop doing that because our copy chief sits right out there. And
I want him to come in and get really angry.
No, you really don't. That's not.
No, we're on good terms.
So
he wouldn't get mad at me. I'd be like, "It was Ryan," and he would attack you like a bear and rip your jugular out.
Wow.
So you're our host.
I am Ryan Scott, your host, and as always, I apologize for everything you're about to hear in the next hour or so.
Right on.
With me, in addition to Robert Ashley, making a spectacular comeback is
Matt Chandernay.
also making a spectacular comeback, right?
Yeah, he's been MIA,
Is it
dude.
spectacular?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Could you do
I'm
this
down with that.
a little more style, please? Like we need spectacular.
I'm Matt Chandernay, coming back to the LAN Party, December 11th, 2008.
That's more like it.
All right.
And Tina Sanchez. Hello.
Hello.
and then Anthony rounds it out
Nice.
by being fat. Let's talk about people that have sent us shit.
Yes, let's do that.
Thanks,
okay.
guys. You're awesome.
So, let's see.
Who do we got first?
The first package.
Jeff Jong sent us a bunch of candy
He did.
from Canada, as well as a bunch of healthy snacks because I had asked for them. So
Yeah.
thanks,
Okay.
Jeff. I lost your letter, though.
I love healthy
Yeah,
snacks.
and inside his package, one of my favorite candies from Europe was in there. From Kinder, it's called Bueno.
Wow, that looks good. Can I try one?
Yeah.
Bueno.
Yeah, they're
Bueno.
so good. I haven't had one in a long time, and it just totally made my day.
So
And then
Thank you.
I don't remember what this kid sent, James Lockwood.
it's
but
like a better
he
Kit
sent
Kat.
it to Mr. Scott.
Yeah.
Do you remember what was in here, Ryan? I don't remember. What did we eat? I forgot. There was a bunch of delicious things. But
What? You didn't share it with the rest of us?
Yeah.
I think
Ryan
no,
already ate all
we
that.
added it to this box. I
Yeah,
just
we
don't
added
remember what
it
it
to
was.
the. We added
Oh wait,
it to the Jeff John box.
I want to read this guy's letter.
Okay, read it.
He says, "Dear Mr. Scott, my name is James Lockwood, and I am president of one of the most powerful video gaming groups on Facebook,
Ooh.
the Joystick.com Podcast Appreciation Group. That's JPAG.
What?
With almost 2,000 members, we have close to double the one-up readership,
What?
and
Oh man.
which I can verify is not true. And we also
totally true,
We
don't lie.
also have a girl."
Oh, shit, they have a girl.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But
Wow.
the downside is it's Tina.
Shut up. Shut up. You're so mean to me.
Her name is Marie. She likes D&D and is totally geekier than Tina.
Oh,
Well,
snap.
that's probably true, but I mean,
Cower before my eliteness, my 1337ness.
That's what the guy said?
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
That he has a girl that's
he's
dorkier than
stepping to
me.
you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I send this English candy with air quotes around candy as a gesture of goodwill. Please pimp the JPEG. It's not just for joystick fans, but it is really. Message
Wow.
ends. He actually types message ends.
I think he sent these.
That's awesome.
I think he sent these bourbon things that I'm eating, which I thought would be kind of chocolatey, but they're actually entirely bourbon flavored.
Really?
Like you're just taking a shot.
Yeah,
Wow, nice.
not even really sweet. It's just kind of like bread and bourbon.
I can already hear the people bitching about the crinkling sounds when they're eating on air.
Whatever.
Dude,
All right,
it's,
so-
it's tradition.
So final letter comes from Dan Dimer, who sent the special package out to Ryan.
Aw.
Dear Ryan Scott and LAN Party crew, upon hearing of your love for Cactus Cooler, the greatest soda on God's green earth, I felt obliged to
That's
send
right.
you folks some. Then I forgot to. End of first paragraph. Anyway, better late than never. Drink it in good health, preferably on the show, though I understand if Ryan hoards it. It is, after all, the sweetest of the desert's nectars. Dan Dimer. P.S. Please excuse my handwriting, capitalization, and overall ability to write formal letters. I was homeschooled for 10 years.
Aw, no,
That was a
that's fine.
perfectly awesome
Yeah.
letter.
Yeah.
Oh,
Whoa.
there's
Oh,
one.
Cactus Cooler. Here we
Ryan
go.
did share.
Oh,
Thank you, Ryan Scott.
Hold on, let's
Ryan
just,
did
hold on,
share.
hold on. Before you open the second one, Tina,
Listen. I'm
let's
gonna
use
get
one
bored.
can and determine if any of us like it before we waste another can, because at least we can save it for Ryan if we hate it.
True.
Yeah.
I was just thinking of throwing it in Ryan's face if I didn't like it.
dang.
I'm just kidding.
No, he'd like that too much.
Here you go.
Like that. Did you guys see that video that was going around about the two Romanian politicians who were on the news and debating each other? And one of them, it was like a guy and a girl, and the girl spills her water into the guy's lap, and then the guy takes his water and throws it into her face.
Really?
And while it's really funny to watch, when you read about it, it's even funnier because you find out that what happened was the guy compared the girl's face to a bidet.
Oh my God!
And then you're like, wow, politics in America really isn't that fucked up at all. Now that I think about it.
All right.
It's very civilized. Cheers.
All right, cheers to the cactus cooler.
Yay.
Hey, here we go.
I think it's pretty good.
I think it could use a little more carbonation, but I like the creamsicleness.
I can tell.
It kinda
tell
tastes
by
like-
Matt's face that he's like not a fan.
I am not a fan of soda in general, and so, but I will say that amongst the sodas, which I hate, this is one that I hate the least.
It kind of tastes like Sunkist and Sprite mixed together. A little bit.
It's
I just like sugar.
So I'm going to take a bite
Now
of
we
this
know.
Big
No,
R
it's good.
Turkish Delight / Lukum,
full of hash.
full of hash, as Turkish Delight often is.
Yeah.
And
I'm not touching it.
it's got like
I don't smoke.
I was just
berries
pointing out, like,
inside or something.
Isn't Turkish Delight the thing that the kid asked the queen
Have a
for
piece.
in Chronicles of Narnia?
Yes.
We
Why
got
not?
some
Whoa,
Narnia treats.
This thing's crazy.
It's like jelly with
Like
chocolate.
It's like a chocolate-covered gummy bear.
Yeah.
God, we should just rename this the Candy Racket Podcast
All right, anyway.
because that's what it is.
Candy party.
I wanted to mention the package that I just opened up.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, but see,
more
but
cookies.
that's not a LAN party package.
That is true. Okay, I won't mention it.
You should save it for your blog in all of its glory.
That's true.
You guys should check out Tina's blog because she's gonna have a picture going up of the crazy fucking birthday present someone sent her.
Oh,
It is
yeah,
a little
it's
bit ridiculous.
It's Tina's
Whoa.
birthday today.
It is.
Oh,
my birthday.
yeah, that's right. Happy birthday, Tina.
Thank you.
Wow.
Do you want me to sing you happy birthday in the chicken voice?
Yeah.
I just like to point out.
Can we turn off his mic? Can we please turn off his mic?
His face is all red.
All right.
Sorry.
Thank you,
Okay.
I
Robert.
was getting protests. I was trying to express myself as a chicken.
So Robert's been kicking it old school with video games lately.
Yeah.
You have been, dude. How's that good old games treating you? I like that
Good.
service.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what it was. I think what happened was a couple of weeks ago. I went into GameStop and I traded in some old shit that I didn't want, and I looked for like 15 minutes for a game that I hadn't played that came out this season, and I did not find one because I have played everything, and that makes me the supreme dork. But I guess I was starting to get bored with my non-gaming, and I decided to download the original Fallout. Which is cool because I didn't grow up with PC games at all, like PCs. Oh, let me see. Closer.
Yeah.
I am.
Closer.
You're good.
Is that more intimate?
Yes,
Do you feel like you know me better now?
I do.
Like you're whispering into my ear,
Yeah.
giving me shivers on the back of my neck.
Oh, Chef, I love your curly hair.
Wow.
But yeah, so I started. It's kind of weird to play a game like Fallout, having grown up with console games, because it's like an alternative universe, an alternative history of games for me. And I can see why maybe I wasn't really attracted to that stuff when I was a kid, because I was a real spaz. And I always needed stuff that had sort of direct interaction. Like I needed to have the feeling of like, I'm beating somebody up or whatever,
Right.
And Fallout has that sort of PC remove, which is funny. That's the thing that I like about it now. I kind of enjoy the archaic interface. I mean, I would imagine some people would play it and feel like, oh my god, it's so slow, I'm going to die. But I kind of like the pace of it and the waiting for the action to unfold and all the grisly death animations.
I was going to say, you played Fallout 3 with the VAT system almost entirely, right? So, I mean, this is still kind of like...
Yeah, although it's different.
Well, it's a tactical isometric thing, turn-based.
Yeah, although
RPG.
I find myself utilizing the same tactics. Like, instead of...
Run away till you have action points and then use them?
Yeah, well, no, not so much that, but, I would always pull I'm going to stand behind this car and wait for someone to come around the corner so I can blow their fucking head off. Instead, like I always do the thing, where you bust open the door and shoot someone, and then everyone comes and lines up behind the door.
Yeah.
Because only one person can be in the door at any given time. So you kind of you never get surrounded if you take the right position. So there are all kinds of little things like that to play with. But yeah, I don't know. I'm sort of appreciating it. Maybe not on the level of people who grew up with it. Like I have a friend who was one of these kids who Fallout was kind of their ultimate game growing up, and when I talk to him about it, he's always talking about it as if it were such a brutal and kind of adult scary game, and that doesn't survive at all in any way.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't shock me. It doesn't feel terribly dark or anything. If anything,
campy.
Feels fairly light compared to Fallout 3, almost in a way that I wish Fallout 3 had a little bit more lightness to it.
Well, I went back and played that when Fallout 3 was announced.
Yeah.
And I think they were going to do Fallout on Retronauts or something like that. So I went back and I played Fallout 1 and 2, and I played all the way through Fallout 1. I cheated my way through Fallout 2. But yeah, Fallout 1, I got that same feeling. It was like, well, at the time, this seemed like such an adult and mature game, and playing it now, it seems like it's written by some sci-fi fanboys, and but even worse though is Fallout 2. Fallout 2 is like sex, violence, sex,
oh, really? Violence. That sounds good. I like sex and violence. Although the writing in some places still holds up, I can kind of see why it has a reputation for having been a cool storytelling experience. The other day I was playing and I'd gotten to the Necropolis section, which is this sort of you're hunting for your water chip for your vault, and there's this moment where you meet up with super mutants for the first time, and there's this guy Harry standing in the doorway where you need to get past him, and when you walk in the door, he starts talking to you, and you have to either fight him or talk your way out of, talk him into thinking that you are a mutant, or the third option is that you can tell him to take you to his leader, and I chose that option, and it was kind of crazy to me how elaborate that branch was, because you end up being taken back to their headquarters somewhere. I don't know. Maybe later in the game you find out what that is, but you're forced to give up the location of Vault 13. And then when I gave it up because I was about to die, I was surprised by how elaborate the scene that they showed was. Like they showed this whole 4-minute scene of super mutants raiding Vault 13 and killing everyone brutally, executing people in the hallway.
All because of you.
All because of me.
Were you the guy that when you played Metal Gear Solid, you gave in to the torture?
No, because I have an amazing stamina for button pressing, which Chuff is well aware of. The button pressing test that we used to.
Yeah, you do. He's naturally ahead of the curve.
Yeah, I'm a fast button presser. Let me tell you.
What's your 16-shot rating?
He gets a. He can basically do between 11 and around 11 shots a second. That's him right now.
Wow, that's pretty incredible, Robert.
Yeah,
actually,
I feel like that might be my only athletic skill in life.
So having played Fallout 3, do you think the guys at Bethesda did a good job of keeping it real, to what Fallout 1 was about, because a lot of people were totally when they heard Bethesda was taking it, we're like, oh, it's going to be totally fucked over. It's not going to be anything like Fallout should be.
Yeah. I was sort of surprised, actually, by how much they did take from the original game. It almost, I could see coming from having played the original Fallout to playing Fallout 3, there being very little surprise to it. It's kind of weird how much it mimics the original game, even where some things are in the world, like the military stuff is up in the northwest, like it is in the same map and everything.
Oh, that's true. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
that's funny.
And I would just notice all these similarities. But in general, I think what's cool about it is they managed to take the very excellent intro movie and take some of the style from that and get it in the game with the music and that sort of ruined post-war America thing that doesn't actually come through in the original Fallout when you're playing it. It's like this when you first pop it in, you watch this really cool opening scene where they're playing this nice old jazz music and you're watching the ruined world, and it has this particular feeling that games like BioShock picked up on.
Right.
and I think Fallout 3 managed to get that throughout the game. But yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed Fallout 3 a lot. I think I'll actually go back and play more of that. But I'm digging on this sort of lo-fi version.
Yeah. How much was it off of?
$5, like $5.99,
Nice.
and I installed it I once you buy it, it just sits in your account, and you can download it as many times as you want.
So it's like Steam in that sense.
Yeah, except it doesn't you don't have to connect to the internet or anything. It's actually
sick. Chuff is sick.
All it is it's like a file download site. Like you download it, it's your file. Do whatever the fuck you want with it.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so I already put it
awesome.
on my laptop and everything. Runs great on my laptop, of course.
That's a good call. Yeah, I've not that decent of a laptop, but I bet you would run that just fine.
I guarantee that it would.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Wow, that's awesome. I've been playing Fallout 3 too because I finally got my PC together and working.
Yeah.
And it was a giant fucking hassle, but it happened. It took like 3 days
of me playing tech support on AIM.
Yeah, exactly. Anthony and Alice were playing tech support on AIM, and it's like I ended up having to go through a whole process to get my BIOS to update, and did my Windows recovery and everything like that to get my processor working. But now it's fucking up, and it's awesome, and I can play Fallout at full. What is it? 1920 by 1200 or whatever it is, and at ultra high settings.
And more importantly,
no
you did
slowdown.
it. You did it yourself.
I did.
There's something to be said about that.
And it
with a
only
lot of
took
tech
you
support.
3 months. Here, high five. High five. Yeah.
And in the end too. It's nice too because the RAM he got, because the economy is so crappy, cost him next to nothing.
It was $50 for 4 gigs.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So
That's so crazy.
And it's good RAM.
My
too.
first computer had 4 megs of RAM.
mine too.
4 fucking megs. And
Wow.
that was the
Mine first had
the pretty good
256K.
computer. Yeah?
That's what I was running Doom
My
on back
E-Peen
in the
is
day.
way bigger than yours now.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
And Matt was able to build that computer. Granted, he got a motherboard out of me, but he was able to build it for less than 600, wasn't it?
No, it was 660.
Oh,
all
okay.
said and
But
done.
still, Matt has a very top tier current computer.
Yeah. It was while I was working on it, while I was trying to get it working, I'm like, man, this fucking sucks. If I had the money, I would seriously go out and just buy a pre-built PC that has everything in it that I want, just so it could work. And
right.
That's the total attractive thing about consoles is that you don't have to mess with any of this shit. It just happens. But once I actually got it done and got everything done with, I'm like, I am a god. It's
Wow.
it's just like beating it's just like beating the original Ninja Gaiden for the NES.
Yeah.
It's such a fucking triumph.
So PC building is a game in and of itself.
Yeah, basically. Only it's a game that can potentially cost you hundreds of dollars when you fry your circuits.
You just compared building a PC to beating Ninja Gaiden.
I did.
I have still to this day never beat Ninja Gaiden without the aid of emulators.
Okay, to be honest, I didn't beat it either. I was only there when one of my friends beat it.
That's
So-
sort
Do you
of
mean
like beating
by
it.
the aid of emulators? Do you mean you're constantly saving
Save.
state? Yeah.
for the final gauntlet of bosses? Yeah, that was what I could never do.
Speaking of PCs, I just wanted to give our LAN party listeners a tease. I'm setting up a contest right now with the guys that did Fear 2, and they want to give out a PC, and the MSRP on that's $3,000.
Yeah, it's probably got dual SLI cards and 8 gigs of RAM running Vista Ultimate, and
I am
Yeah.
not eligible for I am an employee.
Robert's eligible. He's the only person that is
I'm not an
eligible.
employee.
I got all the
Sign me up.
15 specs right
times.
here too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Tell us all about the specs.
Yeah, if you got the specs, you should just read off the highlights.
Here, you want to do it?
Yeah, I'll read off the highlights.
Here you go.
Do it in an exciting way.
All right. It's got an Intel Core Oh, fuck. This is actually kind of exciting. It's got an Intel Core i7, which is the new
Whoa.
processor that they just released.
Yeah.
So it's a 2.93 gigahertz with an 8 megabytes of cache. So that sounds 8 megabyte cache is a big deal. Mine only has 4. So that's basically this thing's that's one of the top. That's probably the
Insane.
processor alone is probably $600 right
Yeah.
now.
Wow.
Then it's got it's an Alienware case, which of course I'm sure looks ridiculous
I
with
hate
crazy
those.
lighting. Yeah.
I hate him.
Then it's got a 1,000-watt. It's got a kilowatt power supply, which is probably actually needed because of everything that's in it. And then it's got a single.
Of the Mother Earth.
It's got It only has one graphics card, right? But the single graphics card it does have has DDR5 RAM, and it's a Radeon HD 4870X2, which means it's basically like two cards in one card, kind of. It has two processors built in. Then it has 6 gigabytes of DDR3 RAM at 1066 megahertz. So that's pretty rad. That's like better than most people are buying. Most people buy 800 megahertz RAM.
I just want to know if it has hydraulics. Like, can you make it like
ground effects,
dance and bump and stuff?
Vista Home Premium.
I got to say that this cactus cooler is growing on me.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So
and it's got all and then it has all the standard bells and whistles after that.
Right.
But I mean, just that alone, whoever gets that computer is going to be set up for years to come.
A while. Yeah.
And plus, I mean, everything on there is upgradable too. Like that is an excellent computer.
I hope listeners will appreciate.
Yeah, so you guys should keep an eye out for when Tina actually makes that contest go live, and then enter the crap out of that because
click, cha-ching. You're totally gonna win. Click on this page as many times as you can.
I don't think it's going to be like that. I'm actually still trying to figure out what kind of contest I should have.
Yeah.
But I do want it to be.
Jesus.
I do want to give favor to LAN Party listeners, definitely.
Yeah.
So
I don't know how that works.
You gotta know like the secret word to enter.
that should be how it is.
Oh,
you
yeah,
have to listen to a
that'd probably be a
podcast.
good idea.
And when Robert says, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll do it like a radio morning contest.
So when
Like when Robert mentions the Gettysburg Address, call in.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, but it has to be related to fear too.
So I too have been playing a bunch of old games lately.
If you're afraid of the Gettysburg Address,
because I got a Steam Press account finally.
Nice.
As the PC editor here, finally was able to get one thanks to Ryan Scott.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan.
Sweet.
Ryan Scott laid down his authority boot and was like, "That's not how it happened at all. We just got really lucky." And Doug responded to an email, Doug Lombardi at Valve.
Yeah.
But yeah, since then I've been checking out a bunch of games I hadn't missed. I haven't had a chance to play them yet, but I know, and it makes me sound like such a child because I kind of am, I guess. I'd never played any of the XCOM games.
Yeah.
So I downloaded all those. I'm kind of excited to try those out.
I haven't played those since they first came out way back when.
Fucking difficult,
that would be fun.
Man. I downloaded the original XCOM from Steam when it came out. And I mean, when it came out on Steam,
right?
And it's so hard. I mean, compared to Fallout, I mean, I was sort of into it, and I actually sat down and spent an hour and a half reading the entire manual.
Whoa!
Really?
Yeah, because
wow.
I was trying to figure it all out. I mean, I know that sounds ridiculous to people who grew up with this stuff, but
no,
I grew up with Super Mario Brothers. Give me a break.
Well, back in the day, I think I actually played XCOM. That was back when I thought I didn't have to read manuals for anything.
Yeah.
So
I'm pretty sure I never beat that game, and that's probably why.
Yeah.
For the youngins listening out there, can you explain what XCOM is?
Oh, I don't know yet. I haven't really had a chance to play it.
It's basically like Hannah Montana meets Aliens.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's a very accurate description.
If you take one part Jonas Brothers, one part Hannah Montana, and one part Pokemon.
He's really explaining it for the young people.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
And if you in one of these bands of skinny guys with the tall hair and they play the annoying songs
and the tight jeans.
And the tight jeans, yeah. And the songs are all about how they're really tough guys, but on the inside they feel.
Yeah. That's XCOM in a nutshell.
I think We're sorry we deviated.
It also has aliens.
No, it's like this kind of crazy, very ambitious in scope game about where you work for this agency and. Which I guess you can be in any country you want to be. You can be in the U.S. or in any other part of the world who is studying the alien threat. Basically, you're part of some shadowy government organization.
You're the Men in Black.
Yeah, who knows that aliens are watching us and they're constantly invading our airspace.
Uh-huh.
And so it's one part this sort of simulation, building game where you're making your headquarters and installing all this new equipment so you can detect aliens better and buying new weapons and planes to intercept UFOs and stuff. And then
wow, that's so funny. I forgot about all that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the thing that people think of most is that once you build all that stuff, you detect these aliens and you shoot them down on a world map, which is really lo-fi. It's it looks I mean, it looks like DEF CON or something. And then you go down on the ground and try to recover the alien technology and find the bodies and stuff so you can dissect them.
And that's when it becomes turn-based strategy.
Yeah, and it's like you and 6 or 7 soldier guys who you equip
versus like the surviving enemy aliens.
Yeah, and it's turn-based and it's fucking unbelievably difficult. Man, I was having a real tough time. I think I got through like 3 crash sites and was like, I'm too old for this.
Yeah, I want to try that. And there's like a bunch of old games. Like that's the thing about PC games. Like just on 1UP FM, they were like looking up the other day, like 10 years ago, what was coming out for Christmas and stuff.
Holy crap!
And it was like StarCraft, like Fallout. It was like all these like big games, like but like none of them, not one, was a console game.
Right.
All the big games are PC games, and it's kind of like. There's like a ton of old games I mean to play. Like, did you guys ever play like a Giant Citizen Kabuto? That is a fantastic game, but like no one ever played it.
What is it?
It's like a PC game. It's like very tongue-in-cheek British humor, and it's about like you play as these 3 aliens who are like just kind of beer swilling, like they drink a bunch of booze, and they're just kind of done. But then there's also this giant that you play as, and there's also this girl who's like trying to wield power over the giant. I don't know. It's like. You switch off between all these 3 characters, and it's like so sometimes it's like a 3D platformer, sometimes it's like a shooter, and then sometimes it's like this you're playing like Godzilla type levels. I don't know.
Yeah,
I remember the game, and I remember they had to censor the girl.
They did, yeah, because she basically
had nipples.
she doesn't wear clothing.
Yep.
So
and then they had to censor before they could release it. Yeah.
What kind of game is it? I can't even.
It's like a 3D action game, yeah. Third person action almost all the time.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing about playing like old PC games. I was playing Fallout. I get the sense that there was this time when you could have sort of made a game about anything, and that was okay. Like there was a lot of experimentation, even with a character. Like nowadays, you couldn't really make a game. I mean, I guess Bethesda gets around that by making these games where you have elaborate character creation. But if you're going to make a game based around a character, it's got to be, a semi-handsome, rugged guy.
It's true. I mean, yeah, people always criticize,
Character design?
Yeah, it was like Fracture. They changed the character of that, 3 different times because every time they would preview it, everyone would, talk shit about the way the guy looked or something. And be like, oh, we got to change it.
Oh, we got to come up with a new big, tough bag.
Did you ever get to see his first design?
Yeah.
Can you describe it?
Oh, it was just not quite Space Marine enough.
It was a guy with a Vanilla Ice haircut.
I mean, it's just the way. It's just the way. If you go look at the early designs they did for Gordon Freeman, like we talked about, he was a big truck, had a big fucking beard and stuff like that, and he wasn't like Robert said, he ended up being a semi-handsome, very short-term beard, very clean-cut looking guy.
Although Gordon Freeman's on the very edge.
He is. They still kept something that isn't your standard hero.
Yeah.
That's
glasses
true.
And stuff?
At least doesn't have muscles. At least he's a science nerd,
right?
But I just don't know if you could go around making any kind of scenario you want to in a game nowadays and get away with it.
But I think that Gordon Freeman, his character definitely fits within the story,
Sure,
who he's supposed to be and stuff. I wouldn't understand if they had some bulky ass dude and it was Mirror's Edge type style game or something.
It also helps that you don't see him, because I think what people have problems with nowadays when they make these big action games is you make a normal looking guy and then it's kind of ridiculous. It's sort of like Uncharted, the PS3 game. They really tried to make. All along they're saying they're trying to make a fairly average guy
who stumbles and whatnot.
Yeah. Even though he kind of looks like a soap opera star,
right?
He does have the proportions of a regular man, but when you play the game, it becomes kind of ridiculous. It's like, okay, this regular guy is leaping from building to building and shooting 40 Caribbean pirates in the head every minute and a half.
I don't know if he has proportions of a regular guy unless a regular guy works out all the time.
Yeah,
I was gonna say a regular guy, like 2 of us, Robert. I'd say we're pretty regular, and I ain't looking at us thinking I'm Nathan Drake whatsoever.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm Nathan Drake if he lets himself go for a while.
But I think that goes to show how far away game characters are from the norm. That you get someone like
But here's the thing, though. I think that Mirror's Edge definitely is changing that with Faith and her character design, especially from, a female perspective.
Yeah.
Just the way she looks, she's lean. She looks like she's a runner. She's dressed like one. Yeah.
So they went from, making the fantasy of
big booby girl.
They went from like heavy metal to.
Yeah, we'll see if that actually
making the otaku Western fantasy of Asian chicks.
I was gonna say I don't know that that'll hold though, because they did that in Beyond Good and Evil too, and
yeah, they did.
and no one gave a shit.
And also that game is selling like shit.
Yeah, well, and Mirror's Edge has been selling not so great either.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. Like,
just like Beyond Good and Evil. So I'm just saying, maybe they're going to realize if we want Mirror's Edge 2 to sell, cup upgrade. and then we'll get
really?
sales.
You think?
No, if they want Mirror's Edge 2 to sell, they ought to identify what was good about the idea in the first place. I mean, I just played through that game 2 weeks ago, and
it's the parkour and everything. That's the
coming out
stuff.
soon for PC.
It's not just
the combat's really just kind of throwaway. Who cares?
Although it's not just the combat, it's what they do with the parkour. It's like when you get up on the rooftops and you have these fairly simple lines to run that you can figure out where you're supposed to go without having to try and fail or without using the
stopping and looking
the look button a lot, where you can really feel like
a
you're
badass
going somewhere. Yeah, and it's enjoyable. It's like a racing game. Then they take you in these little indoor places where they have you do all these, in-depth platforming sections, like your Mario, or
like Tomb Raider or something.
Yeah, and you're really cramped, and you're in first person, so you're looking around, confused. Your view is really narrow, and it's hard to see where you're supposed to pick up the line.
So what you're saying is the open part's good, cramped part's bad.
Yeah. The indoor parts are just ridiculously complicated. It should be a much simpler game in general.
Now we need parkour through the jungle.
Have you seen the video for their map pack, the racing map pack that they're releasing? No. It's exactly like what you're saying. It's a time trial map pack, but it's all super simplified. It's just geometric shapes floating in the atmosphere, and like the goal is to just get to the end using all of the Mirror's Edge parkour moves.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, it almost seems
as long as they leave that fucking story alone. Oh, man.
Like the cool lines.
It was so awesome.
The cool lines and stuff would be like instead of like what you're saying, the indoor stuff, it almost seems like it'd be cool to like do something like, have you guys ever seen the Ong Bak? Have you guys ever seen?
Oh yeah, I love Ong
If you were doing stuff like that guy does, like running through the streets and having to like jump, like it's not quite parkour,
or,
but it's still like, but the way he still does like the crazy jumps on tables and stuff. Now it's not over rooftops, but it's still like traversing terrain in a way that is
or like when he does the splits under the truck.
Yeah, just stuff like that.
So what's the guy's name? Tony Jaa.
Tony Jaa. Yeah.
Tony Jaa.
We need a Tony Jaa type game with
but I don't want the fighting. Yeah, we don't need the fighting aspect. Just keep it like doing Jackie Chan crazy stunts.
But Edge should have been a game about a guy trying to get famous on YouTube.
like I'm going to scale this building and people are going to find out about me.
Yeah, that would have been. It would have been a lot better than Faith. You can't run away from everything.
So what you're saying is they should make the storyline like Skate, where it's like, you're becoming more famous. People are coming out to like take photos of you and stuff.
Yeah.
The storyline in Mirror's Edge.
Like you read the comment section on your video.
Yeah, exactly. You can watch your YouTube replays.
Would you tell listeners to give it a try on PC when it comes out?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think it's a game that any serious gamer should play.
Yeah.
Because it's an important game.
Perhaps go out and buy so that they'll continue to make original IPs.
Yeah. Well, and the evolution of the mechanics in it, I think, like Robert just said, are important.
Yeah.
It's the kind of thing that, like, I think I've said this probably 2 or 3 times, so I'm sorry for repeating myself, but like I'm a really big fan of movement in games and FPSs, and that's why I love Tribes. That's why I liked games like Action Half-Life and stuff like that. And Mirror's Edge like finally takes that concept and pushes it to its natural conclusion, or pushes the evolution forward. It's not really a conclusion.
Oh, but although we should say that you don't necessarily play this game like a FPS, right? I mean, you don't have to go around and like.
Well, they force you to fight.
Do they?
They force you to fight.
Yeah,
with
but I mean, like, no.
Well, you can disarm everyone.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
it's
a pain in the ass.
Frustrating.
Yeah. They need to have a lot broader repertoire of disarm moves, I think.
Yeah.
That, like, where you can jump kick into somebody or slide kick into them and lead right into a disarm move if your timing is good.
To me, it feels like a game that didn't take playtesting very seriously. Like, I refuse to believe that they sat a bunch of people down to play that game and
said, "Don't use guns."
Oh, I love this part where I have to disarm the 8 guys with shotguns that kill me in 2 blasts.
Or they were so wrapped up in what their vision was they couldn't see past criticisms.
That's sort of. You feel like. I mean, there's some amazing brilliance in that game, and I'm sure the people making it were like, "Oh man, we're really like pushing this. This is like seriously innovative."
Uh-huh.
And
and it
they
was,
may have
and they
smoked
did
their own supply a little too much.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the thing was is that they were too shy about getting rid of the guns. You know, like
Really?
I really think that they thought that.
But
I really think they thought that they had to include guns.
Really?
They had to let you shoot the other guys because otherwise they couldn't figure out, how to sell the game, how to market the game, or whatever. And,
just having that option, you mean?
well, I think they should have. I think they should have just made Faith. She doesn't use guns. She just uses some wicked kung fu on these guys.
But that is the case, right? I mean, they don't start you off with a pistol. You have to go out.
No, but there are times basically where you end up having to use.
And I'm not actually totally opposed to guns in the game. I think it could be cool if they actually managed to bring a good shooter to it while they were at it.
Well, the shooting was fine. I just didn't want to use it because I've been doing that for 20 years.
I would say that the shooting was pretty subpar, in my opinion.
Really?
It was really there was a very loose feel to it, and the sort of 2 bullets in your shotgun thing sort of limits you to what you could actually do when faced with a room full of guys.
Well, yeah, and to be fair, all I did was play with the guns a little bit and then reloaded because I wanted to get the achievement for not using a gun.
I shot everyone because it was really boring to have to disarm everyone. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
But did that ruin the gameplay for you at all, though? I mean, did it move it along a lot faster, or was it as enjoyable as it could have been?
Excruciatingly slow. That's the thing. The game moves so fast, and then you're like, okay, stand still now and take care of these guys in this room.
Right.
It's like you've been on the merry-go-round over and over again. You're like, wee, 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 and someone stops it suddenly, and you're like, oh, I feel sick.
I played the 360 demo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm kind of waiting to play it on PC. But the thing I got from the demo is when you turn left or right or whatever, even that seems this is too slow. This slows me down too much. I want to be able to do this fast.
You mean there isn't an option to make the sensitivity higher?
That doesn't work so well for me on consoles. It might just be my problem. But I mean, you can get much kind of finer movement.
Oh, I see.
But
it should be better with the mouse, right?
Yeah. What the hell is that noise?
It's Milky. It's a disco party.
Our editor-in-chief is, he's
blasting music in the room next to ours.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, soundproofing will never do anything against bass like that.
Yeah. Well, and it's not even soundproofing. All we've got is some foam up to keep the windows from echoing.
By the way, I wanted to mention that he does play one PC game all the time.
Milky?
Final Fantasy XI hardly counts as a PC game, in my
Whatever,
opinion.
don't say that to the people that like Final Fantasy XI.
I just
Don't
did.
hate.
I just did.
You mean has it on in the background at all times, no matter what he's doing?
He's always playing. One of those.
Even when he's not playing, he just has the game running. Anytime he wants to jump in, it's just there and ready.
Is that why whenever we shoot in his office for the 1-Up show, he's always looking at his screen instead of at the other people in the conversation?
Because he interacts with people in there, yeah.
It's I got to deal with my guild. I don't got time for you.
That's not gaming. That's a sickness. that's
Final Fantasy XI exists for what? Did they release that for 360 or was it?
PS2.
No, it was on the
PS2.
360.
PS2,
360?
360, and PC.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, and they all play together, right? And that's one of the few games where that happens.
And as much fun as people make of me for playing so much World of Warcraft, James Milky is 10 times more of an addict for Final Fantasy XI.
Wow.
And didn't he buy the judge's helmet or whatever that thing?
No, he didn't buy it.
I think they sent it to him.
Oh, did they? Okay, I thought he bought it.
Huge ass helmet in there. Anyways, so we should have a battle James Milky versus Ryan Scott. Let's see if WoW or Final Fantasy.
I think we ought to have a sound system battle.
That's one of those battles where no one wins. Everyone's a loser.
Best MMO out there.
I think Milky wins by default. People do not win battles against James Milky.
So you're gonna throw the game to the boss?
Huh?
You're just gonna throw it?
That's the safest
You're gonna be the guy who goes play golf with your boss, and you're like, "Oh, I hit it in the tree." Oh man, I suck. I guess you won this round.
I will point out that I have been trying since the release of Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo on Xbox Live to get him to play against me, to give me a challenge.
Yeah.
And he hasn't taken me up on that.
He hasn't
yet,
accepted?
Am I the only person who thinks that game is really ugly?
Yeah. You can get off my podcast.
No, I think it's so ugly. Like,
why?
Like the bringing that same art style into HD, like the facial expressions look really bizarre to me. like really. Like the kind of art that people used to send EGM in the mail,
like on the envelope itself.
Yeah, like with like Street Fighter so cool on the bottom. You know?
Wow.
And like the music is god awful.
You know what? That's
Yeah.
why they included options for people to use the original sprites and the original music.
Yeah,
They've anticipated that
but
some
you know
people
the
are not
work
gonna like
they
these
did
things.
on the game went into the new game, and I just want to point out that work is hideous.
I think
It's hideous.
I think some of the backgrounds are a little weird,
Yeah,
but
like the character sprites, I think mostly look pretty good.
yeah.
You know what I like about Capcom is that they actually take the time to listen to what their fans have to say about certain titles. So when they were developing, or mentioned that they were coming out with that game that you like so much, they actually took criticism and ran with it.
For like the rebalancing and all
Yeah.
that. Yeah, they got a bunch of like pro players to help
Yeah.
do it.
Well, with a game
it's
like Street
cool.
Fighter, I mean, you have to get those people because that's your audience. I mean, this is
Yeah.
not a game for the masses. It's
But
a game.
I
It's a
don't
game
know.
It's a game for the few.
There's
No,
people
there's
still
tons
play
of
Street
people
Fighter.
that
I
like Street
guarantee
Fighter.
you.
Yeah.
There's been plenty of people that I've played on Xbox Live.
Did they
so
give it
far.
away on Ellen DeGeneres?
Maybe
I don't think so.
they should.
I don't
Is
think so.
that how you're gonna decide whether a game's good or not? Or
No,
is
it's-
No,
it-
I'm not. I
It's
only,
just
I
for the
only play.
masses.
I only play nerd games. I don't play games for the masses. I don't play fucking Wii Fit. I'm just saying, like,
Is
it's
that
not,
for the masses or the?
Yeah, Wii
Wii
Fit is totally
for
for the
the
masses.
and I mean like in both sense.
You play Rock Band?
Is,
The
yeah, I
masses
play Rock
and the
Band.
masses.
That's for the
yes.
masses?
Isn't that
But
what we
it's-
call
but
casual?
It's for me
masses?
more than the masses.
Casual.
No, it's not.
Guitar Hero is more for the
The
masses.
masses are just copying me.
But no, Street Fighter, it looks good, and it's a lot
Yeah.
of people play it. There's a lot of people who have been playing. Yeah, exactly. There's been a lot of people online who have been like, "Wow, I haven't played this in like 10 years, but this is
Yeah.
Awesome.
No,
No, I mean,
this
I'm
was a
saying
good
this
game.
as somebody who
So-
used to forgo lunch in order to have money to play Street Fighter at the end of the
At
day.
the arcade.
Yeah,
I was right
I would,
there
I
with
would,
you.
I would come home after school and proceed to eat like 3 bowls of cereal because that's how much it took to support my weight, having not eaten lunch at school at all. And then I would bike over to the Stop and Go and play Street Fighter 2 constantly.
I never did get into the whole Street Fighter thing. Like I'd be hanging out with my friends, and the only thing they ever wanted to do was go to 7-Eleven to play Street Fighter. I'd stand there and watch them play. I don't know. I just never got into it. I've never
Yeah.
been much of a fighting game guy.
I remember the first time I ever saw it. I was going to see Terminator 2 with my mother. me and my mother were going to see Terminator 2.
That's a romantic mom and son date.
Those the bizarre, awkward situations you have when you're raised by a single mother. Everything has the strange tint of like you are both son and husband. I think any single mom raised son can attest to this.
That was me.
Yeah. But I was walking by the arcade and I saw people playing that and I was like, 6 buttons! Holy shit, that's the future! Like I was totally blown away. Like, how could it have 6 buttons?
And your mom's like, "Don't say shit," and then she slapped your mouth.
Yeah, I definitely didn't say shit in front of my mom.
Oh man.
The first time that I played Street Fighter, I was like, okay, the best characters have to be M. Bison because he's the last boss, and Blanca because he's a monster. So clearly, these are the best characters to choose.
Yeah.
And that didn't work out so well. For me.
No.
You liking that cactus cooler?
I still think,
It's not too
I
bad.
still think it needs more carbonation.
Really?
Yeah.
So, I was looking at BBC News today, and they.
You mean like right now in your laptop that's open in your
I
lap
have it
instead
right
of paying
now
attention to the podcast?
I want to share it with everybody.
She's writing her review.
Yeah, that too. So the title of the article is "Spore at the Top of the Piracy Charts."
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So I just wanted to say, "Fuck you,
Spore and
pirates."
oil
what?
tankers.
There's a piracy chart.
Yeah,
Spore is
there
a game for the masses.
And they listed the top 10 pirated games of 2008. Should I read it to you guys?
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm interested.
What are they?
All right, and I'm going to guess here that
Okay.
almost all these have hardcore DRM, and they just and that's part of the reason they got so pirated.
Are we talking all PC games or?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so Spore,
Okay, yeah, number 1's Spore, number 2 is The Sims 2,
DRM,
3 is Assassin's Creed,
definitely DRM
4 is Crysis,
again.
Command and Conquer 3,
EA always has some sort of.
yeah. 6
I mean,
is Call of Duty 4,
Surprised that's not higher from all the things I've heard.
7 is GTA San Andreas,
Oh yeah,
8 is Fallout 3, 9 is Far Cry 2, and 10 is Pro Evolution Soccer 2009.
Look
Who
how-
the fuck wants Pro Evolution
look at how many of those are
Europeans.
Ubisoft games, and Ubisoft's always the one that puts like a.
You're looking at European.
I can't remember the name of that program on there,
Yeah.
but they always have it.
That is true.
The one
Secure ROM?
Secure ROM, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I sometimes I think the DRM argument is a real like excuse for people who have just dropped $3,000 on their computer not to spend a dime on software.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
people who make that excuse weren't going to buy the game anyway.
But the thing is that like there are games that don't have DRM, like Sins of Solar Empire,
True.
or
Not exactly a huge hit.
no, Sins of Solar Empire.
What?
Those guys made money hand over fist on that game. Hand over fist.
You know what this
But
article...
are you, like they sold as many.
See, this is my
copies
hand
as-
going over my fist.
I never hear anyone talking about that game, and I've never seen it pop up on any chart.
It's the same, like with...
It's been huge worldwide.
Galactic Civilizations 2.
Didn't have any
It's
DRM.
the same deal. Like, that was like the best-selling game at Walmart for however many weeks straight.
Yeah.
And Sins of a Solar Empire, same company.
Yeah.
Other companies that Valve and Relic both are also pretty opposed to DRM, and they always manage to sell pretty well.
But
Although,
Segue.
although I got an interesting message from a one up from a listener on my in my one up inbox from Saturn 2888 about
that's my
Steam.
favorite year.
Yeah. And
That was when we finally came out of the Depression.
Shit.
and I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's really long, but he says basically Steam, for the last 3 years has allowed you, if you have downloaded the game, a multiplayer game, to log on your account on multiple computers so that you can play with your friends.
Yeah.
And he says the Steam service now has super DRM. There's a lockdown where if you log into one machine on one computer, even if you're playing a game, you're immediately disconnected and kicked out of your game without being able to save.
Well, if
another machine is logged on with your account.
okay, I don't see how that's like
Why
such a
is
big
that
deal.
a problem?
But what he's saying is they changed it.
I
Yeah,
never
they
even
used
knew
to
that
let
that's
you-
how you used to be able to log on to a multiplayer game specifically with multiple accounts,
Yeah.
with multiple computers.
Oh. Loophole. Well,
I don't know. I guess I never have tried that, so it's never even occurred to me. I mean,
usually when you have, like a physical copy of a multiplayer
But
game, you'll just swap the disc.
Yeah.
it's still in my
that's what we
opinion
did
though.
with StarCraft.
Still, in my opinion, though, Steam is still the best solution for the fact of the matter that I here have all the games downloaded at work, and then at home I also have it, and then it's also all on my roommate's computer. So anytime one of us can be using that computer, and it's not like with I think it was Red Alert. I install, or even sports. I installed on my computer, and it's you have 2 more installs of this, and I'm awesome.
Yeah,
of a game I just bought. Thanks.
Right.
Yeah. But I got the impression he was having other problems with it because he was talking about trying to play different games on his Steam account. One person, his sister, trying to play one game on another computer on his Steam account while he's trying to play another game on another computer on his Steam account. But I couldn't quite follow it. And this is Kevin Gadjani, not a Saturn whatever. I mean, we have his real name. We know who you are, Kevin. But yeah, I haven't really heard much other complaining about this lately, but it's possible that something has changed. And whenever people have the right to use a game in multiple systems and then they take it away, somebody's going to get mad. Obviously somebody was using it and using it under his rights, and he had his rights taken away, and welcome to the future.
Well, in contrary,
It is scary.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think what's happening is the way that we buy and value games is changing. It used to be, you bought a cartridge or a disc, and you owned the game. You could sell it to someone. It would have value as a trade-in. You would have it forever. It's changing more to a system more along the lines of software and a computer, where you're purchasing a license to use a game in the ways that the publisher has prescribed for you to use the game.
That's certainly how it is with MMOs. I mean,
if you even games, back then, even like with floppy disks and stuff, if you in the manuals, it basically said you are purchasing you are licensed to use this software.
Yeah,
and it's like quite literal now.
Yeah, except I think that this is also coming to console games, and console gamers have been used to this idea for a long time. Like they're coming from like the cartridge days when a game was actually a physical object,
right?
Especially with downloadable games.
Yeah, and downloadable games, or you look at things like Gears of War 2. Which had the multiplayer maps that you could only download with a code that came in a brand new retail copy. It's single user content. You can't. That's not transferable to a second buyer. You can't even at this moment download it.
Don't you think though that that's just to fuck over the used games market? Like they just want to stop GameStop from selling used copies of Gears of War 2.
Yeah, they just want to stop you from having any value to your games after the fact. Like people right now assume that when they buy a game at GameStop, they have a certain amount of trade-in value that they can use to buy more games. And I think people are going to be significantly upset when challenges are made.
That slowly kill trade-in.
Yeah. I mean, I like having the freedom to do with my games what I want. If I'm going to pay $60 for them, I want to be able to, sell them back for some money, do whatever I want with them. Take them to a friend's house, give them away, whatever.
Yeah, but there's that argument with like the used games market and how that's like having a negative impact on development and stuff, and publishers like willingness to release new IPs. Sorry.
Oh, no, it's fine. It's just I was thinking, it could get turned around though and go in a more positive direction. I mean, music DRM is a huge problem. But then you have like free markets, like Amazon doesn't have DRM on there, and I've even heard that iTunes is slowly like trying to negotiate to get rid of DRM. I'm just saying, like it could turn out that maybe there's like a turn of events where people decide that this really is stupid. I mean, there are some pretty big name publishers out there kind of like pushing for that anyways, realizing that it kind of doesn't make sense. I don't know.
When it comes down to it, to me, as things as all things media become digital, and they lose their physical properties, like where it doesn't matter, you've bought something, but it's really not there. It's ones and zeros.
Not tangible.
I have a hard time imagining a future in which people are charged by the byte for files of music, movies, or games. I think it's going to have to be some sort of utility. It's more like paying your water bill. And
to some extent, I mean, it still is like that. Even with internet, you pay for a certain amount of bandwidth per month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, like even me and my roommate have actually been having to watch it because he streams movies, I download games on Steam, and it's like, whoa, we're like reaching our internet limit. Like as ridiculous as that sounds.
You were talking about that the other day, weren't you?
No, I was talking about how I live in an apartment with 8 people, and the internet connection is under my name. So if you have like 2 or 3 people that I have told multiple times not to torrent, if they start torrenting stuff, then it's like, oh, look at this major fucking pirate at this address who's like torrenting all these things at the same time, and it comes down on me. So that's what happens at my place.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Yeah. So it's like I've been
take a sledgehammer to their wireless.
Yeah, exactly. we have a firm no torrenting place at my apartment. One of my roommates is like, well, maybe you should just put the internet connection in my name. And I'm like, well, that doesn't solve the problem. I mean, because
it does for you, man.
It does for me, but it doesn't solve the problem when my internet connection gets cut off.
That's true.
Has that happened?
No, it hasn't happened yet. Unfortunately, I have a very kind ISP who has so far just threatened me.
I know people that shit's happened to, though, in real life. I remember there was a girl in my dorm in UC Davis who got like all of us pirated music. I mean, first off, like, you know, this was like when, like,
Napster days.
this was Napster, yeah, and I just got into college, and I remember, you know, this is everyone's first experience with like a T1 connection.
Right.
So as soon as we got to college, everyone was like, I can download whole albums in minutes.
Porno's so fast.
Exactly. So it was like, so now everyone's downloading shit. And I remember they just targeted like one like really, really super quiet Asian girl on our floor at random.
Aww.
She got her internet cut off for her dorm room for the whole rest of the year.
Wow.
That's terrible.
And it was like after that, everyone was like,
I know. I remember that.
example.
And then like Metallica was after you. You know, oh my God, that was crazy days.
God.
I don't know. I mean,
do you even buy digital music, or are you still like a I want a CD for my shelf sort of guy?
I am a weirdo, and I tend to buy vinyl.
I like vinyl
Wow.
sometimes.
I buy vinyl.
Why is that? That's not weird at all.
Especially like nowadays that a lot of labels will give you download codes so that you can download MP3s.
Yes, that is
Yeah.
Because I
awesome.
like to have.
Yep, that is awesome.
But I have gone to the trouble. I have this sort of fetish for jazz records, and I will go to the trouble of like buying my jazz on vinyl and then recording it.
Oh, you actually have a thing to go out to, like,
Yeah, well, I have my music studio, and it has all the digital analog equipment, and I just plug it in and record
MP3s.
It's a pain in the ass, though. Like, it's so stupid. Like,
Yeah,
it takes up so much time.
But there is something to be said.
Then I'm
I can
listening to it,
understand.
and, like, I hear my record. That's where that skip is. Whoever did that. Like, I don't know. I like things that feel like they came from the time that they originated in. Like, I like.
Even though I'm sure you still buy new vinyls as well.
I do, and I buy CDs. I'm not like against CDs. But I don't buy iTunes. I will buy Amazon because at least like
It's DRM free.
Yeah, that and like they'll sell albums for like $4, which if you ask me is about the right price for some MP3s.
Yeah.
Like MP3s are pretty worthless unless you took the time to record your records and separate them into.
Right, and you don't even get the liner notes or anything like that.
Yeah, and they're just sitting there on your hard drive, and especially like iTunes has the worst quality MP3s. Like,
I
So
want to
the-
rant about Apple and iTunes and
Yeah.
iPods and all that. Okay, so I know like a lot of people love iTunes and they have their iPods filled with all their songs and stuff. But here's what I hate. So I have a PowerBook Mac, and I also have a desktop at home, and I can't interchange using my iPod with both. And it just really pisses me off. So, like, if I have music on my laptop and I want to put it on my iPod, I gotta like clear everything out, put in my notebook library. But then
There
if I
are-
want to go back to PC, I can't.
Yeah, and there are ways around that, and I'm sure you'll get some messages from listeners telling you the ways around it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's not like built into the process by default, and I agree, that's bullshit.
I think
And
it's
like,
a bitch.
and I think that like, do you think? So you see things like Nine Inch Nails and Radiohead going independent and putting music for free online, but then also selling premium versions. Like you can buy the Nine Inch Nails box set, which has all this extra stuff in it.
Yeah.
But you can also get the free version of the song. So like, I'm wondering if maybe games, more games would
Like, you mean
look
like
to
smaller
that
developers
model.
or something like that?
Yeah. Yeah, be like let's say Stardock wants to do Sins 2 or something like that, and they say, okay, well, we're gonna give you the game for like $6 or something like that, or $10, I don't know, whatever. But then we want people who are actually fans of this game to pay a premium price for some kind of like awesome package deal.
I'm
thing.
almost positive that Stardock through Impulse already actually does that, where you can pay like $30 if you want the game just as a digital thing, or you can pay $50, download it digitally, and they'll send you a box copy.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
But I'm talking about like
I know. I'm just
premium
saying
things too.
people are
Yeah,
experimenting, but I think when it comes to games, like, I don't know, people are so scared because there's so many people. I guess maybe it's easier for a band, like 5 people, to make that sort of decision or something than it is for like
a publisher.
a studio to like put
yeah.
their.
And it sure is easy for Radiohead
Who's already
or Nine Inch Nails, yeah,
to make their living doing
Yeah.
that. But you couldn't exactly be nobody and put your files up for free and expect to get anywhere. Just based on the fact that you've given your music.
Well,
away.
it depends on what you mean by anywhere. I mean, like, is your goal to make enough money so that you can keep doing your music or keep doing your art, or is your
I
goal to
think
like
just
become
get
like
people
wildly
to
successful?
listen. I think just to get people to listen is really difficult, and I'd say
Yeah.
that as someone,
Yeah.
trying. We just finished our album this week. My
When are you having vinyls pressed?
Yeah,
next year is the idea.
pimp your band.
Pimp my band. I think a lot of GFW listeners know.
They always post it in Gaff.
Yeah. And,
that's true.
And sometimes I think the only people who ever listen to our music are GFW.
Like after a GFW podcast comes out, you got check your MySpace, and it's like 200 listens today.
Well, just this week, like I was trying to figure out why we'd been getting like 500 plays a day on MySpace all of a sudden, and I would Google the name and like not find any mention online, like where's this traffic coming from? And I figured out it was because I was doing this reviews symposium thing with Sean.
Yes.
And he has a blog post where he names everyone who's participating and puts their website, and everyone else has like a gaming website, and he just put my MySpace page. So we were getting all these plays, and I'd get like friends requests from people that are like, GFW forever! Who is this person? Why did they come now?
That's fine.
But yeah,
so you need Sean Elliott to pimp your band. Just get him to Twitter it every time you like put up a new song.
What's the band called?
The band is called I Come to Shanghai.
I Come to Shanghai.
I Come to Shanghai.
And what's the album called?
It's with a name like I Come to Shanghai, you don't name your first album.
It's just self-titled.
Self-titled.
And
you don't want to confuse people.
And will people be able to buy your album like off your MySpace? Like there will be a button?
I don't know about MySpace. I don't really like MySpace very much, but
I'm not saying off of MySpace. I'm saying like they could make like it'll be like a button to make like a PayPal purchase from Robert Ashley.
Yeah, I mean we've actually toyed around with the idea of doing a giveaway MP3 site where we would like take people's email and address information so we could have sort of a list of people that we know have been interested, and then give them access to the files, and then selling vinyl if people just want to buy the nice thing. But it's kind of, we're debating it because right now, I don't know, it's tough if you want to, you're making this face.
It's because Milky's starting up again.
Okay. Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy.
Oh shit!
That's our new theme song for LAN Party.
Anyway, I think sometimes it's tough to like throw your work out there onto the internet because it just gets lost in this wash of music. There's just so much music that you can pick up for free, and on some level, when you give it away, it gives people the impression that it's not worth listening to. Mm-hmm. Like if you're giving it away, it must not be valuable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah. But I don't know. We're playing around with it. But anyway.
Anyways, so speaking of MySpace and Facebook and all that, listeners have been, asking me for all of your Facebook pages and all that, and I haven't responded to anything. But just want to know how you guys felt about adding, listeners to.
Well, my
like that.
my 1UP profile is my public profile. My Facebook is for
private.
Friends that I know in real life, friends and family that I know in real life only. Because I'm linked to a lot of different people. There's a lot of personal information that goes around, and I don't know what all of my friends want to keep private. So it's better for me just to do it that way.
I kind of feel the exact same way. On my 1UP profile, I'll add whoever. My Steam profile, I'll add whoever, but my MySpace, Facebook, and my Xbox Live, I'm a little more picky. Yeah, because Xbox Live you only have 100 people.
Yeah,
and I know that sounds ridiculous, but it's like actually just around people here in the office and real life friends. I already have 60 of those slots taken up, and it's like I like to keep a cushion. I would fill it up fast if I just took whoever.
There's a limit on Steam too.
So I don't want people to think I'm just being a jerk to them by not accepting your friend request. It's just because I don't want to fill up my list.
I actually always get friends requests from people. I think because we're friends.
Friend of a friend.
Yeah, and Sean.
Because of me.
Or not just you, but Sean and Jeff also take a lot of
listeners,
GFW listeners. Yeah. And I usually try to write people back and say why I don't do that, but it's because I not only do I have friends, but I have family, young family, nieces and nephews and stuff, and I know what GFW listeners talk about. I know the kind of shit that I say. I don't want my young family members to find out all my internet exploits. But yeah, I mean, basically, I keep Facebook private, and then same thing with Anthony, Steam or 1UP. I know it's kind of lame because it's I'm not very active on it, but to anyone who ever tried to Facebook friend me, I'm not active on Facebook either. I don't do shit there. I just look at other people's stuff. I'm such a voyeur.
I check my messages and I walk away. I have 80 friends requests waiting or something, and I'm just meh.
The only Web 2.0 thing that I've ever actually gotten into and used regularly is Twitter. Like Facebook, like I'll go on there every now and then. It looks like I'm active on Facebook because it's hooked up to my Twitter. So every time I Twitter, it just changes my status on Facebook.
And Ryan Scott doesn't ever add anyone or anything like that because he doesn't participate in social networking.
Anything at all.
I do not have a Facebook account.
But if you find him on WoW,
Ryan only has a 1UP profile because he has to for review purposes.
I have a MySpace account specifically. Like I've never done anything to it. I just have it so I can log in to view other people's things.
Really? How come you don't add me?
You have it so you can lurk people? That's what you're saying?
I guess.
He's a lurker.
And I mean, 1UP. You can easily reach me there. I try to look at all my messages and reply to people. And and anybody who asks for my Xbox Live username, I'll usually give it to them.
Or they could send a Wonder Bread signal out into the sky, and that'll call you too.
Sending cactus.
We need white bread.
Sending cactus cooler is a sure way into Ryan's heart.
Yeah, it is. Aw.
I do think we live in this time where if you're gonna be like making stuff, like be that music or content on a video game website or whatever, people sort of expect to be able to reach you and talk to you if they want to, and I think that's fine. I mean, I always like to write people back. Like the other day, some LAN party listener wrote me on 1UP asking me, like, they had back problems. They asked me what I did about my back problem. I think I wrote an 800-word response about various back problem.
I've had a lot of people asking me about like my final PC specs and everything, and so I'm going to do a blog post about that today or tomorrow.
That'd be cool.
And like actually put up, what I put together and how how I did it. And that actually reminds me, I wanted like Left 4 Dead, which I finally played because I got my PC working.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
First of all, it's fucking amazing, and I love it on PC. I feel so like precise and amazing using a mouse and keyboard, but I'm having a problem where it's like it does that sort of source engine stutter load thing, and that's I haven't seen in a really long time, but it's happening to me all the time in Left 4 Dead, and I don't know if it's lag or if it's my system.
Users should help Matt figure out and diagnose this problem. To me, it seems like it might be something to do with maybe a firewall connection to the external servers that they have set up for that game. Could be. I don't know.
See, I thought maybe that might be it. I thought it might be actually my Windows Defender because it popped up and it said blocking Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
And I told it to unblock or whatever. So I'm not sure where that issue is coming from, but it's annoying, especially when you're in like multiplayer and you're a boomer and you're walking around real slow and everything, and suddenly you wake up and you're dead.
You got shot. Yeah.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah, I'm dying to play that. I played Left 4 Dead on PC one day, the first day it came out. And ever since then, I've had my Steam problem, which I don't think users are aware of. And I don't want to bitch too much because I've been getting someone to look into it for me in a way that I'm sure that like the average Steam user doesn't get any attention like that.
Treatment.
Oh, bummer.
But I take it that me and like several. Maybe as many as like 100. Or
Jason Wilson's been having the same problem.
Yeah, because we've all been sort of bitching about it on this forum on Steam. But it's basically like a problem that connects and disconnects from Steam like every 20 seconds. And so you can't play Left 4 Dead with people.
Right.
It's really frustrating, and no one seems to be able to figure it out. But I mean, I guess
there's no explanation at all.
Is that why you haven't
it's
confirmed my friend request?
I guess not yet. I've actually, they've had me change accounts once already, and hopefully I'll get to go back to my old account because that's where all my LAN party listener friends are.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's, I don't know. Doesn't seem to be. It seems to be something that happened when they updated after Left 4 Dead, possibly with like the Steam Cloud stuff.
Thing.
Yeah.
But it seems to only affect a few people.
That's really bizarre.
Yeah.
Should we?
Well, I got a couple of things I want to share.
All right, let's do those quick because we should probably wrap it up.
Really? All right.
Yeah, it's already 1 o'clock.
Well, on the yesterday, well, now for us, but for listeners 2 days ago, on December 9th, it was the 40th anniversary for the computer mouse. Oh, shit.
Wow.
Yeah, in 1968, his name is Douglas Engelbart, first used a mouse to demonstrate, how...
A headshot.
yes, exactly. But yeah,
basically this device allows you to get a headshot. Sorry, I'm eating.
So
I had one of those bourbon things. They do taste like bourbon.
Oh,
yeah.
And something random and off topic and crazy, but I thought people would love hearing about it. So apparently there's some Chinese girl making out with her boyfriend in the Zhuhai province or something, Guangdong province, I don't even know, in China. And they call this article the kiss of death, DEAF, because apparently her and her boyfriend were kissing so passionately that
Her eardrums exploded?
Yeah, it reduced the pressure in the mouth, pulled the eardrum out, and caused the breakdown of the ear, which means that she is now deaf in one ear.
Oh my God,
Whoa.
that's horrible.
Do you even think that's possible?
That's like
Christ.
fucking horror movie shit.
I've done some pretty intense making out, and if I were to burst a girl's eardrum, I'd be adding that to my fucking resume.
Okay, I gotta say, like, I guess what you have to have, like, both people must have, like, their, like, must have had like congestion or something, had their noses.
I don't even fucking know.
For the pressure not be relieved from their noses. I don't. Man, that's so crazy.
That's insane.
Well, it was like he was kissing her and blowing into her mouth and had nowhere to go or something.
No, it sounded like it was a suction thing, though. I
have no idea. Actually, okay, we can make fun of this girl because she's expected to regain her full hearing within about 2 months.
Oh, because we couldn't make fun of her if she was going to be deaf for life.
Well, I couldn't. My conscience couldn't, but shit.
You were technically not allowed to make fun of her if it was going to be a permanent.
Well, you have to wait 10 years or something like that, and then it becomes funny.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
If you guys did that to a girl, how would you feel?
I feel terrible, but knowing she was going to get her hearing back later, I'd hope it becomes something we could laugh about. But then it would probably screw things up. Like the next time I go kiss her, she's like, and I'm like, I'm not going to burst your fucking eardrum.
Can you please not suck my eardrums out? That would be nice.
I don't know. Maybe I'd have to talk her into getting a cheek piercing or something so we can let pressure out when needed.
Something tells me that the story just isn't right. Like that they tried to lie about it. Like, oh, we were just making out when in fact they were trying out like ear canal sex or something.
Oh shit!
Or they were like putting their mouth on like an air compressor hose or something, just being like,
Isn't that crazy?
Something horrible happened.
It does have the ring of untruth.
Yeah.
It's like something you read about on Snopes.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It is
All
on
right.
BBC News, dude.
All right. So are we going to wrap this up?
I think so.
Now, on that note,
Yep.
All of us have important.
Be
All right,
careful when
everybody
you-
protect your ears for next
Yeah.
week so that you can listen to our podcast.
Be safe when you guys are kissing out there.
Or don't. I want to see this repeated, so I know it's not a lie.
All right.
all right,
All right.
we'll see you next week.
Bye.